Hey, everybody. I'm Haley Gray. I'm the group owner in the Women's Entrepreneur Network. I am so excited to be here with you today. I have got our July 2022. It would help if I could type because I typed in 2020. I think I lost 2 years of my life. Welcome, Geronda. I am so happy and pleased to have you here as our first speaker for this month's WEN-Talk. Welcome.
Yes, I'm so glad to be here, Haley. Thank you for allowing us to share. All right. Well, welcome, everyone. I am so happy to share here. Thank you, Haley, and the entire WEN community. I appreciate you all. I'm excited about what I'm going to talk about on today because I find where so many of us as women, we suffer in this area. We have challenges in this area. So the topic that I'm going to be sharing with you on today with my WEN community is I'm going to share with you 7 threats to having uncommon confidence. Confidence is that key word there. So I'm going to share with you 7 threats to our uncommon confidence. I realize that many of us, we go through life, we get the vision and the dream of starting a business, maybe writing a book, whatever that is. We don't have a problem with, we have a challenge with starting, and then we have a challenge with finishing. And so confidence is extremely important. We have to have the confidence to show up, the confidence to continue. And so on today, I want to make sure that at the end of my session, that you feel more confident. When I'm talking about confidence, meaning you showing up, walking into a room, sitting at a table, being confident of the value that you bring and that you add to that team or to that organization, to your network. Also to be assertive. I want you to be assertive in this season. You're not going to get anything unless you are assertive. Notice, I said assertive and not aggressive, okay? So I want you to be assertive in your pursuit for your professional advancement, whether that be you starting your business, you writing a book, you standing on a stage. I want you to have this key factor, this key ingredient, which is confidence. What I realize is that confidence is knowing who you are. Okay, confidence is knowing who you are, what you can do, and then what you bring or add into a room or to an organization or to someone's life. So when you know who you are, you know what you can do, and then you know the value that you add, then you can show up confidently. Now, one thing we have to realize is that confidence is a skill, okay? Which means confidence is developed as you begin to launch out to conquer your fears. Confidence would allow you to stand boldly. But until you step out of your comfort zone, until you face fear head on, you will never, ever be able to develop that muscle called confidence. And so that's why it's so important that in this season, you know who you are, because there's so many things out there that come to try to make us doubt our ability, doubt whether or not we've been called to it, doubt whether or not we even have a message to share. And you know what I realize is that statistics don't lie. Get this, statistics don't lie. And so I ran across a statistic that really was alarming, but what it was a wake-up call for me. And this is what the statistics said. It said 80% of people allow their fear of failure to outweigh their desire to succeed. Let me repeat that again. 80% of people allow their fear of failure to outweigh their desire to succeed, which means with 1 billion people in the world, 80% of individuals, they're just going along their normal routine life, knowing that they have gifts, talents, skills on the inside of them, but 80% are really reluctant to move forward or to leap or to launch into something new or something uncertain or just to explore or to really run after their dream. And there's 20% of us And notice I said us, because if you're listening to me, I'm talking to you. We're in the 20%. We decided that we're going to launch the business. We're going to write the book. We're going to get on the stages. We're going to tell our story. We're going to be bold. We're going to be confident. And I know I've been where many of you are. As I look over my life, these 30 plus years, well, I'm 50 years old, but I can honestly say that I begin to really know who I am and know the value I add. I realize that I have experienced a lot of rejection, and that rejection caused me not to walk in confidence. Some of us, intimidation. You know how you have individuals with all these letters behind their names, so many doctorate degrees, and nothing's wrong with that. But you get intimidated when you're in rooms with people with all of these titles. I've been there. I've done that. Feeling ostracized when you have something of value, but you feel a little insecure, and then people come on top of that, separating you, saying you don't belong, and you're not accepted, you're not good enough, and all of that. I've been there. Feeling insignificant. I've been there, y'all. And then being overlooked. I've been there. All of these things, they ate at my confidence, and they eat at our confidence. And I want to stand flat-footed to say that on today, we're going to conquer all of our limited beliefs. We're going to conquer all of our negative mindsets. We're going to conquer these misleading myths. Because y'all know we begin to allow other people to fears. We embrace them and make them truth when they're not. And then all those crippling mindsets, things that you've been thinking, things that someone said, labels that have been attached to you. We're gonna overcome those things that are holding us hostage and keeping us from going after it. Come on, declare it. I'm going after it. This is the season where I'm going after it. And what I realize is that tomorrow is not promised, y'all. So we have to conquer some of these fears and get over some of these challenges. But I realize that I say this, my superpower is self-aware. I want to be self-aware. I want to know what my weaknesses are, my strengths are, what are my challenges, what do I need to do to overcome them? And so we're going to overcome our challenges when we are more self-aware of what we feel and what we're going through, right? So I want to share with you these 7 threats to uncommon confidence. And this didn't happen for me overnight. I'm still building my confidence because there are bigger and larger doors that are opening, people that are contacting us. And I'm still like a little shaky, a little afraid. And I come to say to you that fear is going to be present. Fear is always present. Fear is not going anywhere. But I'm going to say, like Les Brown says, he said, what you do is you take fear and you put fear in that passenger seat, not in the driver's seat. You put confidence, boldness in that driver's seat. So you're going to do it afraid. Come on, declare that. I'm going to do it afraid. And so I said uncommon confidence because that's out of the ordinary. When people see you, please share with them. Man, I'm not doing this in my own strength. Y'all know I'm a woman of faith. So I love to just interject God in my life because I walk by faith, not by sight. So I'm not standing in my own confidence. I'm standing in God's confidence. And this is what makes it uncommon, because in times when you're supposed to be scared, like shaking in your boots and silent and paralyzed by fear, you're not. And that's uncommon. So I want you to have this type of uncommon confidence, but I want you to know it's not going to come easy. You're going to have to overcome these challenges, and it has to be a choice that you must make. So number 1, let's get to it because we got to get to work. All right. Number 1, what is the number one of the threats? It's not the number 1, but I'm putting this in order, but you can rearrange it however you choose. But one of the threats I do know is negative environments. Your confidence cannot thrive in a negative environment. So it's so key that you be careful on what you're reading. What are you reading right now? Are you reading positivity? Are you reading affirmations? Are you reading stories and documentaries about people's lives who've overcome? So it's key that you identify, what are you reading? What are you watching? Y'all, we remain on Facebook strolling all day long, on not just Facebook, all social media, and nothing's wrong with that. But you have to be careful what you are injecting or allowing to come into your eye gate. I like to say your eye gate and your ear gate. So what you're reading, what you're watching, the environments you're exposing yourself to. I love to be in environments like this with women that want to see you win. W-I-N, thank you, win, W-E-N. That's where we are. We're in a community of winners. So I want to see you succeed. I want to see you win. So it's so important that you hang around the right people. I'm going to tell you, I say this often to myself. I am allergic to negativity. I'm allergic to negativity. I don't want to be around negative people. My desire is to be around positive people, because when I'm around positive people, that increases, that expands, that enlarges my confidence. It builds my confidence. So that's number one. Number two, defeating language released. So if you're speaking defeat and you're releasing it out of your mouth, oh, I'm so afraid of talking to people in public. I'm so afraid, that people won't embrace me. If you're speaking those words of fear and defeat, I'll never overcome this struggle. I'll never get out of debt. I'll never be able to attract the right clients. You speak it, you're releasing it, then guess what? You're going to get just what you say. So don't feed your mind with negative words, because out of the abundance of the heart, whatever you release in your heart, you're going to release it out your mouth. That's why, I don't even be surprised anymore when people say certain things, because I understand it's in your heart. And so I'm glad that it came up, because that lets me know what's in your heart. So I want to challenge you, ladies. I want you to put good stuff in your heart, positive stuff in your heart, affirming things in your heart. And then your language will be different. Your language will be different. Okay, let's move on. Number three. This is the third threat. Poor body language, poor posture. When I see women and I try to tell them, your inward reflects your outward. So if your head is always down when you're, engaging with people, or you're not looking at them eye to eye, that's saying something about your lack of confidence, and your body language speaks volumes. So sometimes we wonder why clients are not attracted, or customers not attracted to us, or people, favor, open doors, opportunities are not attracted to us. The question I have is, what's your body language? Are you appearing inviting? Come on, it has a lot to do with your confidence, because it's going to build your confidence. People are going to be attracted to you because what? Your countenance, your posture. Come on, sit up straight right now. Come on, I know some of us be slouching like, I'm so tired. It's already what, 12? Well, it's my time, it's 12:15, but your time might be 1, and who knows what time, but don't slouch, because your posture says a lot about what you feel about you. And so people are drawn to you by your posture, your eye contact, the way in which you walk. All of that, okay? I'm not going to stay on that, but work on that, y'all. There are exercises, things you can do. I have to be intentional to smile. Yeah, I'm a happy-go-lucky person, but sometimes I don't always feel like smiling. But I have to intentionally, put a smirk on my face. What? Because I don't want my muscles to cause my face to droop. I see people all the time. They look bad, look like they've been sucking on lemons. And I always say, come on, your muscles, you gotta start working the muscles in your face. Do you know there's a mindfulness mindfulness feature exercises you can do? People will charge you for that to exercise your muscles, okay, in your face, so that what? You can lift your face with a smile. All right, posture, that's what I'm talking about. Number 4. All right, moving on. This is a threat. The mistake of your mistakes are holding you hostage. Please let it go. You did it. You failed. It didn't work out. You were disappointed. You thought this partnership was supposed to be the one for a lifetime. All of the mistakes, the choices you made, do not allow those things to what? Cancel out your confidence, to make you think that you can't make good decisions, that you're always making mistakes, that nothing will ever work out for you. Just because you failed does not make you a failure. Did you hear that? Just because you failed at it does not make you a failure. You know what the failure is? It's a lesson. That loss is a lesson. It didn't work out, but I learned from it. Okay, so failure is a part of success. Failure is a part of you growing and developing. That's why with your kids, what you're teaching them how, for those of you who have little ones, I have Gigi babies, when you're teaching them how to walk, they're going to fall down. But guess what? They're going to get back up and they're going to try again until what? We see manifestation of walking, right? Or holding a bottle, whatever that is. I'm saying in your life, don't be so hard on yourself. Those are threats to your confidence. So regain your confidence by letting the past go and learning from your mistake, getting a different perspective on what you had to go through. Let's move on. Number 5, limited beliefs. Limited beliefs. Yeah, we hear that all the time about the limited beliefs. How you feel about yourself matters. Come on, say that with me. How you feel about yourself matters. And so you have to take responsibility of your actions and not allow what you think to prohibit you from moving forward. Okay, so that's a threat to your confidence. Every time you allow what you went through to what? Supersede your future. Okay, the next thing is number 6. Come on, y'all still with me? I know. I hope you're taking notes. Number 6, guess what's another threat? And I have to coach and talk and counsel with individuals, even myself, because sometimes we want to stay parked here. Number 6 is comfort zone. Your comfort zone is your cage. How is it that you're going to explore and discover what you have in you if you remain in your comfort zone? So you have to make it up in your mind that you're going to step out of your cage of comfort and you're going to go after it. I tell individuals, when are you going to go live on your social media platform? Because many of us hide behind our posts and many of us are afraid to step forward. But what I had to do was, one young lady, I had to challenge her and share with her, come on, let's reframe what you're saying. Because she was like, nah, I'm not on social media because I don't know. I have nothing to say. I don't have nothing to say. I say, let's reframe that. And I said, how are we going to reframe that? Come on, I want to challenge you. Get out of your comfort zone. How are we going to reframe that? I want you to begin to say, I'm not on social media yet because I'm working on my message that I need to share with the world. Okay, or I have a message that I'm working on. Don't just say I don't have a message. Don't just say, I don't get on social media. So it's all about reframing, you all, so that you can get out of your comfort zone. So whatever it is, I don't know if it's in your business or with your family and your finances, I don't know, in your relationships, that you're afraid to leap or to launch, but I dare you to get out of your comfort zone. I say it like this. It's like pushing a person over the edge. It's like, I know God is like pushing you and saying there's more in you. Get out, release. It's time for you to go. Nothing like somebody pushing you. Y'all been there, standing by the pool, enjoying the scenery, and somebody push you in the pool. I know you get upset, but guess what? It'll work out for your good eventually. It works out for your good. So remember that. Number 7, and this is my final one, and I'm going to close here. And I hope that this really blessed you and really positioned you to really begin to overcome all those things that are threatening your confidence. So the last one is resistance to change. Resistance to change. You have to get to the point that you understand that nothing changes if nothing changes. So you have, in order for you to get results, you're going to have to just bypass your feelings and your emotions that are keeping you from embracing change. Okay. Change comes to develop you. Change comes to prepare you. Change comes to remove you out of your comfort zone. And so we're talking about going to the next level in our confidence, building our confidence. What is going to take you having a change of mind, a change of results. You see the results. You see the end goal. So now some things have to change, be adjusted in order for you to reach that milestone. So as I stated, I share with you 7 threats to uncommon confidence. I said negative environments. That's a threat. Defeating language release. That's a threat. Poor body language. Yeah, poor posture. That's a threat. Mistakes holding you hostage. Come on, it's a threat to you moving forward and walking in confidence. Limited beliefs We hear that so often. When are we going to do something about the limited beliefs? When are we going to sit down and really begin to really look at the things that are really mentally holding us back? The way we think. Comfort zone is your cage. That's a threat. And then resistance to change. Ladies, I want to see you win in this season. It's your time and it's your season. And I know that if we get to the point that we realize that confidence is the key to our success, yeah, that's one of the keys to our success, having confidence, confidence to start and then confidence to finish. All right. Are we going to finish? I don't know about you, but we're going to start and we're going to finish. Thank you, Haley, once again. This is really a blessing sharing.
I love it so much. I just like so many amazing like zingers there. You know, your comfort zone is a cage, and we're going to start and we're going to finish. Oh my gosh, so much wisdom, so much brilliance there. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing.
Yes, absolutely. No problem. I'm so happy to have shared. Thank you again.
I am so glad to have gotten to listen to you speaking. And thank you. And by the power of the amazing, wonderful technology, we're going to switch to our next speaker. We're going to be going a little bit out of order. Thank you for joining us today, Geronda. And I want to say welcome to Lori. I want to say hi. Thank you. Welcome. I am so happy to have you here, Lori. And can you do a sound check so we can hear you, just to make sure we can hear you? I cannot hear you. I am so sorry. Let's see if we can plug in. Oh, I heard something.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Perfect.
Okay, let's see. Boost. Good.
Perfect. Okay.
All right.
I'm going to give you the stage, and so excited to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. Okay, that about wraps it up. Do you guys have any more questions on how hypnosis can help you forget things? I'm just kidding. Thank you for allowing me to be here to spend time with you this afternoon. And I am Lori Abella. I am Master Clinical Hypnotherapist and NLP practitioner. I am both excited and challenged at the same time. I'm actually excited because I'm here to share with you some information about the mind body connection. It's similar to the what Geronda was talking about earlier. It's the rationale behind what she's talking about, and how it can contribute to your success or actually failure in life. And actually I am challenged because I only have 20 minutes and to communicate with you effectively how to send this message of the mind body connection and how can it help you in success in your life. It will actually take me probably 20 minutes. And it's a joke. It's 25 minutes, but actually it's not really. When you think about it, I could probably spend many years in order to explain everything to you. And it will take a lot of time to be understanding how the mind and body works together. And it has been said that if human mind were simple enough to understand, we would be too simple to understand it. So I have committed myself studying human excellence, and from my studies, I've learned how much I still have a lot to learn. And so my purpose today isn't just to walk away with a complete understanding of how the mind works and how can you access your powers, but rather you walk away, with the desire to explore this amazing inner world. When I was provided this opportunity to talk to you about mindset and how it can produce better results, I realized that most people are actually more concerned about the results in life. So, actually, success or failure, win or lose, you are always in the game. So, you're always it. So, you're going to be there all the time. And this can be in different aspects of your life. So, we're here at WEN. And so, we're almost all like probably in the business area, of our life when we are in when. And when we are in when, like, some people are probably even still starting their business. But um, the thing though is that we're not just only business people. We're also have other areas. So it can be your family area of your life. You have your relationships, you have personal growth and development, we have health and fitness, spirituality, and of course, like, most people associate their career or business with money. And so, yeah, we have a whole thing. So let's explore this a little further. So, I know that most of you are in front of your computer. So if you can actually get hold of a piece of paper and draw a pie. So draw a big circle, and in that circle, I want you to list the different areas of your life. It's like a pizza pie where you cut them in triangles, and so you put them. So let me show you. So it will be like this. So you have your career, your family, your relationships, your personal growth, your health and fitness, and spirituality. So go ahead, take your time. Um, Now, after you have done that, I want you to actually put results in every area of the pie. So, results in your spirituality, results in your personal development and growth, results in your business, results in your relationships, results in your family, and results in your spirituality. And so, anyway, that's what we all want anyway, results, results, results. The funny thing is that most people that I talk to, they want to change their results in life, but they're unwilling to do what's necessary in order to change things around. And so, like, most of the time they're always getting the same results. You see, results in life are based on one thing, and actually that's your behavior. So most people are unwilling to change their behavior. The ideal dream would be to see a hypnotherapist, or maybe an NLP practitioner, or a mindset coach, and still do nothing about it. Like, do what as you usually do, and get a different result. But sorry, unfortunately, that's not the way things work. And there are a lot of different techniques on how to make things work using your mind, but they're all powerful and they're all effective, but it isn't magic. So before one changes their behaviors, they must first change the amount of potential they tap into. So I firmly believe that we have very unlimited quantities of potential. Like, I'm sure you have heard a lot of those scientists of earlier ages. They talk about, like, they use a bigger portion of their brain. We all have the capacity because, like, we're all made the same matter. And so when you think about it, just tap into that potential. Because of our beliefs, we have not actually used it. Our beliefs in our abilities are limited. So if we actually do something in order to reinforce our beliefs into something positive, then something will happen and we'll have better results. So it's funny because, like, it's a never ending loop. So it's either, like, you believe and then you get the result, and if you don't improve your result, then your result, I mean, you don't improve your belief, your result is going to be like going down. So, like, it's never ending. Like, it's either, which is like a chicken and egg. Is it you go with the belief first, or we go with doing what is our potential? And so when you think about it, like, the circle that we have created is actually going on a spiral. It's either going up and accelerate for success, or it's going down, and then, like, we end up in despair. And so, I'm sure there are a lot of you who were affected during the pandemic, and a lot of you have had problems with their business. So, if we can always be looking at that downward spiral, then we are down, 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 and we'll have a lot of insecurities and then lack of confidence. And then we have a lot of probably even anxiety, because, what will cause me to actually get back out, out of this problem? There's always a defeat already feeling. So you have to move up. So the question here is, which direction are you headed in your life? And then if you don't like the direction, of course, you have to reverse the process now and head to the direction that you really want to go to. So let's explore this further. So, can you ever change the results in your life without first ever changing your behaviors? No. Maybe there's some smart Alex over there saying like, "Oh, okay, yes, but unfortunately, it's called dumb luck." But unfortunately, my next session on the seminar of dumb luck is actually until next month. So good luck with that. And I doubt also that you just want to rely on dumb luck, for a change. A lot of people actually are, most of the time buying. I heard there were already half a billion of dollars at stake for the lottery. But, of course, what are the chances of that happening? So we could say that, we can reliably change results, first by changing our behavior. So start from, yourself first. So can we ever change our behaviors until we first change the amount of potential that we tap into? No. But what determines the amount of potential we tap into? That's right, our beliefs. So, so here's one interesting question: can we change our beliefs regardless of what results we have had in the past? But that's absolutely yes, and that's where the mind works its magic. So, remember that there was this. Golfer, Tiger Woods. So, I'm sure he has lost his confidence when he actually had an accident. But it's constant practice, and I'm sure that he's gonna still use his mindset in order to work his magic. And who knows, what will that bring in the future? So there are many different techniques, and they can all assist us in changing our belief. But contrary to our popular science, it's much more easier to change our beliefs than we have been led to believe. And then why don't we have some fun? And so, and see how things work. So everybody, if you can stand up for me, please. And now stand with your legs with shoulder width apart. And now take your right hand in front of you, and now with your feet firmly planted, turn your torso to, I don't know if you're left-handed or right-handed. So turn your torso to the direction where you're most comfortable with. And so, I want you to point, you know, um, the the area where it go to. So, look at where you landed. So for me, it landed in a picture frame that I have over here. So now, wanna ask you to actually um, do the same thing, just using your mind. And so, want you to close your eyes, and then set an intention that you will be able to turn your body and point to the farthermost direction. So it can be I don't know how much your potential is, but you can probably be close till you reach the front of the room again. And so, yeah, just do that. I give you some time. Just think about that you're actually in your mind's eye. Imagine you're raising your hand again, and then beginning to actually turn your body. And then there's a lot of momentum over here. So now I want you to open your eyes. So hands up. and begin twisting and notice how far much more further you're gonna go. So for me, like I would say, like, I have gone much more farther than the first one. So when you notice it, it was much more further because, like, there's the element of using our mind. So if we look at the results that we have produced for the first time, there were the results of a twisting behavior. So it was precipitated by potential to twist your body around, but the amount of flexibility you tap was based upon a belief. So that belief, I know that you are not even thinking about it, but it's always been there already, that you can move your body up to that direction. But when you think about it, like, when you we use our mind, like, it has been scientifically proven for many years now that you make a decision using your mind, that you can go further, and you created a new belief and you have tapped to a new potential. So this has allowed you to take much more greater action and produce entirely a different result. So voila, imagine that, like, you just use your mind in order to produce a different result. And of course, like, it's a first hand what your body can do. And most people expect, you watch a lot of television probably, and you expect that, something like hypnosis can do something like bizarre. But I don't see anything bizarre over here. It's just only the movies that you actually are portraying such thing as, the things that they're showing over there. It's for entertainment, actually. So I was talking about Tiger Woods earlier, and so, like, Tiger Woods is doing the same thing. He's using his mind in order to practice. So probably, if you are, near golf area where he usually practices, probably you have seen him a lot doing it physically. But mentally, he does it much more often than he does it physically. So imagine that there's not much effort. So might as well, like, practicing without much effort, just using your mind in order to make things work. And then, like, I cannot wait to hear all of your success, because, like, it's just not much effort, and then it's just like your mind working its way. And so here's another example of how your mindset can impact your life. So everybody, put your hands up, please, like this, and then close your eyes, and then flip your right hand up. So imagine that I am actually getting a encyclopedia. I have no idea how many of you, maybe some of you are millennials, but imagine getting a very big medical book. So the big medical book I put in your palm, which is, facing the sky, and it's becoming heavier and heavier. So the gravity is pulling it up. It's becoming heavy, actually. But that's not it. I'm going to put another medical book over there. So for those people who from the encyclopedia ages, like, I'm putting another encyclopedia on top of it. So it's getting heavier and heavier. So keep it in that position for now. And then I want you to actually focus on your other hand, which is still raised up. And imagine that I have actually put a balloon over there. So I tie the balloon. So, like, the balloon is helping you raise your other hand going up, up, up. So I'm gonna, activate it more and put three more balloons. So your hand keeps on going up and up. All right. What I want you to do is, like, keep the position of your hands wherever they are right now. No idea, because I don't see where are your hands right now. But now keep that position and open your eyes. So can you see, for me, it's a big difference. I cannot even see my hands on at the bottom because it's a very, very big difference. So like, there was a big gap in between where it used to be like, both of them at the same level. So think about that for a moment. And then in just a matter of between 2 to 3 minutes, by thinking one hand is heavy and the other one was light, your body moved from, a big space. Just think about what effect or the total sum effect of those thoughts in life if we have our, body move at this point. So how many of you would say like, you have a bum knee? Can you imagine, how your body feels when you say like, you're a bum? And anybody here has a bad back? So like, you have always a problem with your back and then you call it bad back. And when you think about it, like, I wonder what will your back say, because like, you said it's bad. So think about those words that you use every day. And I got used for you folks, just like your hands listen to the idea of having one hand being heavy and the other one is light, the rest of your body is listening to your thoughts as well. So having a mindset is about having you constantly decide to change your thoughts to support the results you want to have in life. So, what would happen if every day you sat down consciously and make an intention that you have made the decision to change the way that you think about your day? So, what would happen if every day you sat down and contemplate and think about like how your set of beliefs can actually change. So, like, think about, you having a healthy relationship. I know you have a lot of things going on in your business, but at the same time, like, sometimes our relationships are challenged because we spend so much time. I remember there was a question not too long ago, and then she was saying, like, I don't have enough time for sleep. And so, like, that's personal care, which is related to your health and your fitness. And so imagine like, how will you have a successful career if you will always be thinking like, okay, I am successful. And imagine how much energy your body will be filled if you say like, okay, I have a lot of energy. And it's a you know a relatively proven fact that you actually have to always communicate with your body, because like, your body is like a robot. It just follows what you are ordering it. So like, you say like, okay, I am healthy, then you're on your way to that direction. You don't even have to think about the how. It's just gonna show up because like, you have that in your mind, and that's gonna be your uh, unconscious working on your conscious to get to where you want to be tomorrow. So thank you so much for today. I hope that you have shared with you, will help you think about how much potential that you are tapping into. In some small way, I hope this talk has helped you realize that you are far, far more, greater, and you have much more potential inside you just waiting to get out. Have you felt like deep inside you, you have actually a lot more to give? And have you ever felt that, you can do more, you can create more? Realize that circumstances need to change, and the ones locked within our minds. So begin by changing the circumstances, and give it a whole new meaning. Today, you have gotten some glimpse of the amazing powers of your mind, that you have inside yourself, and that you have not actually used as much. And if you want to improve yourself, just work on it. So if you're interested to learning more about your mind body connection, just give me a holler. I'm happy to answer questions that you might have, and I'll be happy to connect with you. You want to accelerate your way to success in various life, isn't it? And thank you again so much, Haley, and for all of you who listened today.
Thank you so much for joining me. That was a really amazing talk. I love it when the talks fit together without me even trying it. It's almost like, I don't know, God
Synchronicity
makes it happen somehow without me trying to do it. So that is awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And let me make sure I have got your link. I'm going to go ahead and post that here in StreamYard. And what is your freebie that you are giving away?
So I'm giving away a freebie on relaxation. So actually, the main focus of that is for relaxation for travel, because I know that we are in a season of traveling nowadays. And so the funny thing is traveling is actually stressful, because you prepare your business before you go, and then once you get back after your business, you're still worried, okay, what are the different things that I've left behind that I have to catch up. So it can be stressful. So, but anyway, you can use it for whatever purpose, just for relaxation.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a fabulous day. And I'm going to be your next speaker today. I am Haley Gray. I'm the group owner in the Women's Entrepreneur Network. I am a digital marketing geek. We do websites and social media and all the things. And I'm going to go a little bit into left field today, because I want to share a story with you, because I think that this is particularly pertinent, and it's something I'm seeing a ton of with websites and marketing clients. If you ever need help, please reach out. I would be more than happy to help you with your marketing needs. I have a client who is with me now. They came to me about a year and a half ago, and they had been working on their website by this point for a year and a half. They had a vision for what they needed to do, and they hired, they went out, they got quotes for developers, they got all these things. They hired people on Upwork, they hired people on Fiverr. They went with the lowest cost provider for a relatively complex website that involves a quiz, and it's not just any quiz, it's a quiz that's got multi-level scoring in it. It's an e-commerce site merged in with the quiz with dynamic content, and emails that have to go out, and email sequences, and multiple funnels in the whole thing, and all kinds of bells and whistles on the website. So they hired one person, and then they hired another person, and they had all these pretty wireframes of how things were supposed to work. When they came to me this year that the website was almost complete, they had a quiz on their website. Basically, the way that the quiz was working, and this is what a developer had done to them, was that they entered their information, and then that information was taken out of the CRM that they were in, copied and pasted into an Excel spreadsheet manually, an Excel and a macro run, and then the results of that quiz were taken and manually pasted back into their email system with all of this manual processing. There was no e-commerce anywhere on the site. There's no drop shipping. There's no affiliates. There's no any of the things that are going to make them money in their business. We got in there. We took a look at the site. Y'all, it broke my heart. After almost 2 years of development, they had a site that was not functioning, that was not viable, that didn't work, and they had spent thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars building this site. So it's impossible for us to do search engine optimization. It's impossible for us to really do any kind of ad campaign to a funnel that's essentially broken. What we ended up doing as a digital marketing company, was going in and blowing up the entire site, starting over again from scratch. You can only imagine the cost involved with that. And building it again from the ground up to get it to where it needed to be. So how do you avoid these problems in your business? Know who you're hiring, please. Ask around, get referrals. The cheapest provider, if you have a complex website or you have a complex marketing strategy, is not always your best provider. Know who you're working with. They hired somebody on Upwork who had a Ukrainian name and a Ukrainian profile. They got on to a call with this guy, and he was located in Nigeria. So clearly, they didn't even know who or what they were hiring. Number two, when you hire somebody to do your marketing for you, whether it's your social media or whether it is something else, you need to understand exactly who these people are, okay? What their qualifications are. There are way too many cases of, we think that we can put all the security on our websites, but it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes if you hire somebody you don't know to build a website, they will put a ton of plugins on the site and they will leave back doors into the website, or they follow not best practices with website security. That leads to the website being hacked. Once your website has been hacked, you end up on a blacklist by Google. Good luck ever getting found. It is such a pain from an advertising and an SEO perspective for my team to go and clean up the mess. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Know what's being installed. Know who you're giving your user IDs and passwords to. And while I'm on the topic of that, and this is going to lead in beautifully to our next speaker here, don't just go giving your virtual assistant your user IDs and passwords for your Google or your Meta accounts. I see a lot of people who will hire a virtual assistant to manage their social media for them. They give them their user IDs and passwords. They don't use a third-party scheduling system, and they don't do proper access control, because one of the cool things about Facebook in particular is that you can actually assign people roles on your pages and groups. They don't do that. They just give them the user IDs and passwords. Facebook can and does figure out that you're logging in from multiple locations and shut the account down. And you may have a hard time ever getting back into the account. And that's if nothing bad has ever happened. If something happens where you hire somebody to do marketing on your behalf, and they message too many people, they land you in Facebook jail, they do things they're not supposed to do, you could permanently lose access to your accounts. So know who you're doing business with your marketing, please. And in your business, before you go giving away your passwords and your user IDs, check the credentials of the person you're working with. I beg and I plead with people to do this, because honestly, it can cost you more than just hours and time and frustration. It can cost you your entire business. Don't let that be you. So with that, I'm actually going to bring up our next speaker, who is Darlene Petrie. And her talk is going to be along the lines of something that is near and dear to my heart. So welcome, Darlene. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you very much. It's so great to be here.
It's delightful to have you here. So I am going to let that topic lead straight into your talk.
Okay,
And
so, yep, go ahead, sorry.
I'm going to give you the stage. Here you go.
Okay,
You ready?
thank you very much. Thank you for everyone for being here. It's my pleasure to be speaking here to talk about a topic that I'm very passionate about, but I know a lot of other people don't like to talk about it, and that's scam prevention. which I know that you have been talking about in regards to social media. So, but today I'm going to talk about it in terms of women in business fraud prevention. And the key word here is prevention. So, who is Scam Prevention International? Well, we are an organization that's very passionate about bringing education, awareness, and decreasing the amount of your risk of being a potential victim or financial crimes and scams. So today, I wanted to give you tips on how to protect your bottom line, how to identify scams, and how to avoid them. When I first started doing this, I had an hour, more than an hour, and I'm like, oh yeah, I only get 20 minutes. So I may talk fast. And so what we're going to cover are topics that people don't usually talk about. Like we hear people talking about, your social media being hacked, about phishing, and those kinds of scams, like the online phone calls or the phone calls that are coming to you, the threatening ones. But I'm going to talk about online banking fraud, debit and credit card fraud, bank takeover, and false invoicing. Because according to IBM, they did a study and 95% of security breaches are caused by human error, meaning unintentional actions. And most cybersecurity places say it isn't a matter of if you get scammed or hacked, it's a matter of when. So I'm going to put my little caveat in here. I always feel like I need to add a content or trigger warning, like they do on TV, because I don't want you to fear using your electronic devices or feel anxious every time you receive unsolicited texts, emails, phone calls, that kinds of thing. The content of this presentation is to bring you education and awareness and to have it become second nature for you to follow your gut and know when to be extra cautious. So let's get started on the online banking fraud. So often small businesses have the belief that cyber criminals won't target them because they don't have much to steal. They don't compare to the huge corporations, institutions, governments, and usually the big corporations are the ones that we hear about getting hacked on TV or the news. But cyber criminals do view small businesses as a lucrative means to line their pockets. So they assume that many small businesses don't have sufficient cybersecurity protection. And for the most part, they're right. Many small businesses don't have the budget for the expense, and many small businesses believe that they can't get hacked because they have the security website that with the HTTPS, with S being security. And so because hackers have recognized that small businesses don't usually have adequate protection, they believe it won't take them long to get into their system. Often, small businesses don't report their losses, and some businesses, they don't even know that they've been hacked until months later. And I have to say that it's very important to make sure you are always aware of your finances. Never be too busy to keep an eye on your bottom line. However, with some small businesses, that's a reality. They don't have time to spend doing the accounting because it's something they aren't sure about and they don't like it. And if this is you, do try to find the time or hire someone to do it for you. Meet with someone who is willing to do a free meet and greet or consultation to talk to you about your needs. So I'm going to venture to say that since you're hearing this message, you are in a good place, because knowing that bank fraud can happen is a good start to keeping scammers and hackers at bay. So what is bank fraud? Well, it's when someone tries to take funds from your account or other assets without your permission, and it may include them pretending to be you through emails, phone calls, and texts. Each year, Millions of people lose billions, not individually, but throughout the whole industry of scam prevention. Each year, millions of people lose billions of dollars to scammers and hackers. I want to tell you a story about Rosie, and that's not her real name. When I was talking to her, I could see the disappointment in her face as we were talking, and she said, Darlene, I really need to tell you my story so others don't suffer the same loss as I did. I know it wasn't Emily's fault, but if I knew about fraud and scamming, I wouldn't be struggling with my business today. I had just started my vacation when Emily and my admin assistant received an email that looked like my personal email. It said I had to retake my COVID test and that I was not able to get onto my connecting flight. And the email also said I had to quarantine for 3 days while I wait for results, and I would need to stay in a special hotel in Germany that only housed people awaiting their COVID test results. The email requested I send $10,000 so I could pay for the testing, the hotel, the food, transportation to and from the airport and hotel. I would also need to repay for my missed flights and hotels to continue on with my vacation. Emily didn't have the authorization to sign for that much money. The email stated a call would be coming from the hotel manager, Lucas, to help Emily transfer the money to a bank account that I would be able to have access to in Germany. He'd have to pay he would have to have remote access to my computer at the office. The email included a verbal password so she could confirm that it was Lucas. When the call came from him, Emily asked for the confirmation information and password. He gave it to her without hesitation. Many emails had gone back and forth between Lucas, who Emily thought was approved by me, and her. I called Emily and she asked me how things went with my delay. I did have delays, so I thought nothing of her questions. It wasn't until I got back from my vacation 2 weeks later that we discovered the whole account had been drained. They had gotten into Rosie's account. We're both devastated and they're trying to put the pieces back together, and they are now more aware of the different types of scams, and they're learning more about how important it is to have the proper tools, not just the software tools, but the knowledge tools to protect their business against fraudsters. The scammers took everything because unknowingly the scammer was given all of Rosie's company's banking information. So how do you protect yourself and your business from these bad actors? Well, some tips to avoid online banking include staying informed and taking action to protect yourself and your business. And how can you do this? By educating yourself and your staff on the warning signs so you and them are skilled at spotting signs that you may be dealing with a fraudster is very important. It's also important to protect your computer and electronic devices by installing antivirus protection software and making sure you are updating your operating system as updates come out. Also, don't check your finances or personal information while you are on public Wi-Fi sites. It's also important to make sure device protection software is doing what you think it's doing. And that means, updating your web browsers as they're asking, or any of the apps that you have. Do update them. If someone calls you from your bank or credit card company or business that you're dealing with and you aren't expecting their call, ask to call them back from a number that you have always used to connect with them. When you call, ask for the person by name and title. If you felt funny about the original call, let the person you are talking to know of the conversation with the person who you had the previous conversation with. Scammers may be making you unsolicited offers also, and may be offering you deals that are too good to be true. And chances are they are too good to be true, and it's a scam. If you ask questions often, scammers won't know answers to questions, and they will skillfully direct you away from the question, revert them back to what you originally asked. Be aware and research if something doesn't feel right. Again, I don't want you to be afraid to talk to people or to scare them away. But if something doesn't feel right, don't hesitate to ask for their number and to let them know that you'll be getting back to them. And then talk to others about what your suspicions are. Another sign is scammers will usually ask for personal information that is not necessary to conduct the business, such as your social insurance number, social security number, or bank account information. Even though you're paying by credit card, they may, under the guise of being friendly, ask for family member names and ages, and this may be a way of figuring out your passwords. Now, keep in mind, this isn't all at once. Often scammers are patient, and I know of cases where they have taken months or even up to 2 years and longer before they strike. So let's talk about debit and credit card fraud. What is debit and credit card fraud? Well, it's when the bad actor steals your card or your card's information and uses it to purchase items without your permission, or uses your card's information for other purposes. Know that there are differences between your debit card and your credit card. Until I got into the scam prevention business, I used to use my debit card because I didn't want to pay interest. You'll notice I said used to. What I learned was that when you're using your credit card to purchase, you're not using your own money initially, you're using the credit card company's money. When you use your debit card, you're using your money directly from your accounts. I have to say, I never thought of it like that. So if a scammer gets a hold of your debit or your credit card, depending on which card provider it is, will depend on if and when you get your money back, reimbursed if it is fraudulently used. How to avoid the debit and credit card scams? Always know where your cards are. Check your credit score to ensure your cards have not been used in your name or your business's name. Keep track of your finances and know what your balances are on both your banks and on your cards. Use your credit card to make purchases instead of your debit card. Don't throw, and this is something, don't throw your paper copies of statements in the trash without having them shredded. Just a side note, don't throw your invoices or your purchase orders that have mistakes on them in the trash unless they are shredded, because they can get information from them as well. And don't click on sites that you don't know and trust. And don't use cards in places that don't seem reputable. Check reviews. So this next one is something that's new to me, and I hadn't really thought about it before, and it's the bank account takeover. I have to say, I used to always lump it in with bank account fraud, but it is different. Bank account takeover can be when scammers take over the account, meaning they have the login information and personal information of the person or business. This is what happened to Rosie, the lady whose story I briefly told you about. The scammer had all of her login information and all of her personal information. And so they were able to have access to her account. So banking takeover can go so far as only the scammer can have access to your account, and you not being able to access it without going into your branch and proving who you are. So that's the part that was new to me. Like I hadn't ever heard of that. So there have been cases where scammers actually went into the bank, So they're in your community. These scammers and fraudsters and hackers, they're in your community, and they went into the bank with fake ID and changed all the credentials of the bank account, even the address. And how does this happen? Well, phishing and malware attacks are very common ways, and hackers gain access to your information to gain your access to your bank account. So some of the signs that your bank takeover includes: you're not able to have access to your accounts. You don't receive your bank statements for a long time. And sometimes people don't pay attention to that. They're not really, because they get it online, they sometimes check online and they don't get their statements. And your ATM card doesn't work anymore. And I know sometimes people have gone days, they'll go to use their card and they don't use the information or they don't report it because they just think, oh, maybe I don't remember the number, or I demagnetized my card. There's different things that they'll come up with, and they don't go to the bank, but it's really important to go right away. So how do you avoid the bank takeover? Well, create strong passwords that don't include family information. Consider using a password generator. Change passwords often, and absolutely use multi-factor authentication to decrease your risk of bank account takeover. And monitor all of your accounts monthly and report suspicious activity immediately. And here are the don'ts. Don't use the same password on all of your accounts, and don't use your same passwords that you would use on social media. Don't use any of those on your accounts. Don't give out your private information to a stranger on an unsolicited call. So that's with them calling you. Never give any information. Don't click on links in emails or texts. And don't ignore notifications that information is being changed on your account. Do pay attention to that, but don't click on any links if that's what they are. And I'm going to slide right into false invoicing. Most employers send out and receive invoices on a regular basis for products and services. And yes, sometimes mistakes happen. Keyword being sometimes. If mistakes are consistently being made, there is cause for concern. If you're operating a small business and there is only one person in charge of finances, as the owner, ensuring purchase orders and invoices sent out and paid, good practice would be to have these checked out by a second party. So what is false invoicing or invoice fraud? This is when someone purposely invoices for more than the agreed amount, causing companies, possibly yours, to overpay and possibly pay for items and or services not received. A false invoice is when the scammer tries to charge a business for services never received. And this could mean your company needlessly pays a scammer hundreds or thousands of dollars for goods and services not received. As I previously said, scammers are very cordial, pleasant, agreeable. They're also good at skirting around questions when asked. If you receive a call from who you thought was your vendor to question your order, don't be concerned about not being polite if you have suspicions. As Christian music artist Toby Mac says, ignoring the red flags because you want to see the good in people could cost you. So how do you avoid this scam? Being aware that scammers do exist and knowing they are charming and likable people is a very good step in avoiding being scammed. The warning signs of the false invoicing: you've received less products that was stated on the purchase order. If you've received the invoice but have not received the product or service and there is no sign of receiving the product, that's definitely a sign, and call your credit card company. If it's not there by the date and you can't get a hold of the provider, call them immediately. The cost of the product is higher than the agreed upon amount, or sometimes it could be less than the agreed upon amount and they want you to refund them the money. That's a sure sign. You received an invoice. The products have been received, but not to the quality that you agreed upon by both parties. and you've received the same invoice more than once, and they are insisting on you paying. Some of the do's are: carefully check your orders for the number of items received compared to the number of items purchased and the quality of items. If it's a service, keep track of the hours provided. Keep track of products or services purchased, payments, and amounts still owing. When first starting with the vendor, check the contact information. Dial the numbers, send an email and text. If you can't meet them in person because they live in a different country, then have live video meet and greets. And the don'ts: when you are in a hurry, don't do your invoicing. Or if you're tired, make sure you have time to review them carefully. Don't assume the invoice is correct. Check it. Don't send out large orders without confirmations. And don't double pay an invoice. It could have been taken from a legitimate company. Call the business directory. Okay, I know we covered a lot in this session, so this is the end of my 4 common frauds that we're covering today that affect small businesses. This is not even the tip of the iceberg of the way individuals and small businesses get scammed, but I hope this provides you information to keep you and your businesses safe. I'm Darlene Petrie.
Absolutely.
I'm Darlene Petrie from Scam Prevention International. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing this super valuable information. I really appreciate you doing this.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And with that, I'm going to bring up our next speaker, Candace. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great.
And on this crazy day where we've got thunderstorms about to roll in, and I can feel it like 13 elephants on my head and all over my body, I am going to let you have the stage. Welcome, Candace. I am so excited that you are joining us today as a speaker. So here you go. Stage is yours.
All right. So hope you guys have really enjoyed the sessions that Haley put together. She always does an amazing job with giving everybody in the group so much opportunity, so much knowledge, just to connect with people who are great at what they do. And also just opportunities, again, to kind of rethink things in your business or your personal life as well, maybe more related to my session here. But yeah, so thanks, Haley, for always giving so much opportunity to people in the group to learn. And thank you, Darlene, for doing a great job. Important topic that you covered. So anyway, I want to get right into it here. My name is Candace Friesen. I am a money coach, real estate agent, mom, and all the other hats that we all wear in life. And so I wanted to talk a little bit today about recession proofing your business, your life, because it's kind of an important topic and what a lot of people are talking about right now. So I'm located in Manitoba in Canada, and a lot of the things that we're going to talk about, of course, is affecting a lot of the world, right? Most of the major countries, first world countries, are sort of experiencing the same thing right now. And we just went through a pandemic, and, you know, I probably could have called this How to Deal with a Pandemic 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, when it was just starting, and things that we had to think about then. So I hope that keep that in mind. And I hope that maybe also gives you guys a little bit of sort of what to think about when we're now looking at a recession, right? So a couple of things. I'm going to talk mainly about business, but again, a lot of it can also apply to your personal life. And if you do have any questions, please reach out at any time. And I'd love to help you one-on-one if that's something that you're looking for. So one of the things that you want to think about is staffing, of course. So if you're just a solopreneur, that maybe doesn't matter to you right now, but likely you have people that you hire on contract or people that help you out in your business, right? So should you be hiring right now? Should you be reducing your staff? Both might be important depending on your business. There are a lot of people who are looking for work right now, but in my area anyway, there's also a ton of jobs. Like I just drove by today, another sign by the driveway. There was a sign, help wanted, right? So it might be a time where it's really hard to find people. It might also be a time where you might want to look at, do I have too many staff right now, right? Or could I make a few changes to how I run my business? Some of that could also be, should I hire like on contract, like we were just talking about, versus having staff in place? Or should I just hire someone on contract to add to my business instead of hiring like a second or a third employee, right? So many ways to look at that, but one of the decisions, I think, and one of the things to consider in your business right now that is important. Second, creating a cash flow plan. So we always talk about the big B word, budget, and it's something that people often don't really want to do, or, oh, things just kind of work out. But, now when we're heading into a recession, it's probably a good time, if you don't already do a budget, to do one and to be really into your budget if you already do one, right? So if you don't, get started. If you do, make sure you're really paying attention to your numbers. So we talked about a cash flow plan because that's a little bit different than a budget. So budget, we're looking at, projections to what we think our numbers are going to be and how they actually turned out. But cash flow is important because sometimes you have those yearly expenses that come up just once in a while that you still have to plan for, right? And tied into that whole thing is liquidity. During recessionary times, it can be harder to find money. So that's also really, really important that you're on the ball with your money and you don't get caught short on money and then it's hard to get money, right? So we'll talk about that in a little bit too. Another thing that's happening a lot right now is delays. So if I could see you all, and if we could put our hands up to who has experienced delays since COVID, probably everybody could put their hand up, whether that's in their business or in their personal life, right? So what just happened to me, perfect example. I was driving my husband's truck because my car had a flat tire and that had to get fixed, but the company, the mechanic shop, had to order tires for me. Driving my husband's truck, his fuel pump quit, and now we had 2 vehicles down. And so within a week, the tires came in, that was fine. But his fuel pump was 3 weeks to get that. And then another week before there was time for the mechanic shop to actually fix the vehicle. So as I mentioned, money coach and realtor. Money coach, not as affected. Realtor, very affected by not having a vehicle. Never mind, we had 2 of our vehicles that needed work on them. So how do we prepare for that? We usually have 3 to 4 vehicles available, right? Not all necessarily licensed, but we have a backup plan. And that's the sort of thing I'm talking about here, right? Is just to prepare for the unexpected because these kinds of things are happening. So look at that in your company too, right? So yeah, that's an example for my company, but also my personal life. But if there's equipment or raw product that you need for your business, you really, really have to make sure that you have access and that you have enough of these things so that you don't have those shortages affecting your business and, of course, your personal life as well. So another topic to kind of think through, another point would be horizontal and vertical integration. So horizontal might make more sense for your company. Vertical might make more sense for your company. So let's talk about both of them. Horizontal is really looking at what you offer in your business, and maybe you're offering another product line. So it's kind of diversifying, right? Simple example from my life, again, on the real estate side is I'm a realtor, and then I started doing home staging. And that was at first just for my company, but then now we do home staging for other realtors as well. So it's a way that I could have another product line, basically, right? Another source of income. You always hear that you want multiple streams of income in your life and in your business, right? And this was one that just made sense because we already were doing it, right? We already had the product, we already had the staff. So it was really just looking at how do we expand this and what needs to happen paperwork and contracts and all those kinds of things to offer another service, right? So look at your business. And again, this is the same advice I would have given you if we were just starting the pandemic. Look at what else you could offer within your business, and if there's a way to offer more, or maybe buy competition, buy your competition out, buy another product out, or another service that makes sense to kind of add to yours, those kinds of things. Vertical integration is looking at your production line, right? So really making sure that you're in charge of your production. So are you buying the company that helps you with the raw material, let's say? Or if you take metal and then you need a welding shop to make the product, and then you end up selling the product to a company or an end user, do you buy the welding shop, or do you buy shares in the welding shop, right? So that's just another simple example. But is there a way that you can buy or be involved or create the product that you need within your production line? Okay, so another topic that I wanted to look at is your pricing. So you really need to keep an eye on your pricing when you are going through recessionary times, and keep an eye on your competition. So people might make cuts in their business, and they may be cutting prices or doing different things. So you have to be really aware of what your competition's doing. Going online might be something that you want to do. Offering deals, people buying in bulk and getting a discount. Maybe you've outgrown your business completely online, but you want to try in-person sales. Maybe that's something you haven't done yet. That could be a really good way to also increase your sales, right? So keeping an eye on what your competition's doing, not obviously being obsessed, but it's really important to keep an eye on them. Looking at your pricing, looking at ways to increase your income in different ways, right? Another thing is to have an emergency fund. So again, we often talk about that in personal finance, but in your business, you want to as well. Whenever opportunities come up, they always say the people with the money or wealthy people can always take advantage of opportunities that arise. And it's true, right? You have to have that cash ready and available. So that's something that you want to think about. And if you suddenly do need to buy a whole bunch of product that maybe you're not used to doing, but you're sensing there's going to be shortages, you got to have the money, right, to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. Running your business and living within your means is also important. So again, it's really easy to go to another conference or buy another sales product or take more training or all these different things. Just make sure that it's something that's really important right now in your business, because if it can be put off a little bit, maybe that's something that you want to wait on, again, to make sure that you have enough cash available. Another thing that we've been talking about a little bit that this relates to is liquidity again. But keeping your credit score high is just another tip that I think is really, really important. So, when you're in trouble, and I hear this from businesses, right, that I work with, but when you're in trouble, it's really hard to get credit. When things are going great, banks are like, do you need more money? Right? And maybe you've experienced that in your own life. If I go and get a mortgage, sometimes suddenly the bank's like, I think you have enough. And I'm like, well, nothing's changed here. But their back end has changed, or they're being more conservative, right? They're going through a conservative time. And so you can see that in their reaction. But also, if things are going well, then they don't want you to spend more, right? And they're going to offer you lines of credits and a credit card and all this stuff because they have confidence in you. So if we suddenly run into a problem in our business, if a recession causes some kind of, it's going to be hard to find because the banks are also really watching things now. So have a line of credit now ready, just in case. You pay on credit cards, have that ready. Have that credit card. So just roll you should try to talk credit card if you have any interest just keep the credit card open because it's harder to ask for and it's less likely to get in an emergency, right? So be careful of that. Just posting investments if they're not needed. So if you need to invest in something, obviously do it. You don't want your business to suffer. But if there's stuff where you can maybe put it off a little bit, it might make sense to just wait. So think about that a little bit too. So just, not to be stressed out about this whole thing. Just be very nice in your decision making. And yeah, just kind of a final really, but listen to your employees and your customers. Again, during the pandemic, I would have recommended this thing through that. Another time to kind of tighten that out to get in here and just see what other changes could I make. What should I be doing? Where do I need to expand? Where do I need to act, right? So with your employees and your customers, because it's really, really important. They know what really important things you can't see, right? So if your employees are like, oh, I think we should do this, maybe you should consider that. Try as much as possible to have at least a one section with my employees, a month section of like, hey guys, what are you saying? What are some ideas you have? Should be doing different, doing well, are you guys having problems? Because that community is so crucial. And you can have 3 or 4 things that came home and said,
Hey, Candace,
yeah.
you are breaking up very much for us right now.
Oh, okay.
I love technology when it is cranky. I love when technology decides to be cranky, because right when you're delivering truth bombs, right, about all the things you need to do financially in life and in business and all the backups. I wish we could hear you better. This is going to kill me. Let's give it a second and see if your internet gets any better. Are you at home or in your office right now?
Yeah, just in my office.
Okay. Well, it sounded like you were clearer there. So why don't you keep going? Let's see if it got any better.
Okay, sure. Yeah, we've got a couple minutes left. So what I was saying is to really listen to your employees and your customers, right? So your employees will tend to do great ideas to do for problem solving or ways to expand your business. And so really listen to them, right? Give them the opportunity to speak and provide ideas to you. So have that open line of communication. Really important to going through your right now. Customers, the same reason, right? Ask for feedback if they're happy with your product, see what you can do better, or your service, right? And be in tune with both of them.
It is
So again,
still really broken up on us. I'm so sorry. I get like 1 in every 2 words or 1 in every 3 words.
Okay. Well, I think we're wrapping.
Yep. So y'all check out Candace. Start a conversation with her. She is an amazing powerhouse. You know, I think that one of the things that I maybe underestimated along the way is how how many balls you have in the air, Candace. You know, and the reality of being a realtor and doing all of the stuff that you do with kids, and you know, all of the subtleties and the nuances. Y'all, Candace is a really great person to know. So y'all check in with her. And thank you, Candace, for being here with me today. And hopefully we will get to reschedule this and get you on for another WEN-Talk shortly here, and make it happen. So thank you, Candace. And I'm going to promote Starlight. Hey, Starlight, hopefully we can hear you.
Hi,
and
everybody.
hopefully it will behave, and that the powers of the internet that be will behave. I'll let you know if it doesn't. I'm going to go ahead and let you go and give you the stage. So here you go.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. My name is Starlight, and I am a business strategist who helps online entrepreneurs grow and scale their businesses. I do that primarily in helping them launch transformative programs and game-changing communities. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about whether or not using a membership, a subscription model, or a community is a right fit for your business. Now, memberships and subscriptions actually work well depending on a lot of different factors. You don't have to have an online business, but it definitely works in the online space. But if you think about things like Netflix or your local bagel business, Panera has a subscription model, right? Subscription models are all around us and are very much a growing trend for the year. But in the online space, especially after the pandemic and COVID, it's become an absolute necessity to be able to offer a space for your audience in order to grow an online business. I'm going to kind of focus on the online business bit because that's my favorite part to talk about. Now, how do you know if scaling your business and including a subscription model or a membership or a community is the right fit for you? And how do you really get started? So the first thing is, have you successfully been offering a one-to-one service? If you're a coach or a consultant or a thought leader or an author, you've probably been working with clients in a one-on-one basis, and you've probably learned with a bit of time and experience that you will have difficulty scaling because you can only serve so many people one-on-one at a time, right? Let me fix the sound real quick. So when you're getting to that point in your business, that's a really great stage for your online business to be as you're getting ready to actually scale to the next step, which really means working less, reaching more people, and making more money. It's a really great place to be. The people who are ready for that stage are people who've done some experimentation and have really started to get results for their clients in a one-on-one capacity. It's also a really great fit if you have a robust email list or an audience that you can convert into your membership. The cool thing about a membership is that you can offer your services at a lower price, help more people, and generate recurring revenue for the lifetime of your business. It's absolutely incredible, but it does take a bit of time and planning to put these things in place. So the first thing that you can do in getting yourself set up is to really validate whether or not this idea is key for you. Now, the freebie that I've included today is my community planner, and it's really focused for people who are really considering building a community around their business or their idea. If you're an author, if you're a thought leader, if you're a consultant, it's actually, communities are such a fabulous way to scale, but this will help you take an idea from being an idea into actually something that addresses all of the important strategic and planning questions about your community so that you have a cohesive plan that you can then build and move forward. But how do you know if it's the right time for you, right? So in this particular model, and leaning on my expertise from the corporate space. For those of you who don't know me, I spent well over 10 years in the corporate space, primarily in the product design and startup world. My expertise is really around designing something amazing from concept to implementation, and then generating a ton of momentum behind it so that it would get funded, become a series startup, et cetera, right? I've been on innovation teams. I have 3 international patents as the original inventor. I have helped startups grow, get funding, and become stable businesses. I've been an advisor to startups. The startup world and launch and that fast momentum that relies on a lot of people to get things going is squarely in my wheelhouse and is the core expertise that I brought from the corporate world into the entrepreneurial space, right? Because those same ideas apply. You want to design something that is desirable, that people just can't wait to get their hands on, and you need tactics, marketing, strategy, methods of reaching these people that generates momentum so that your idea takes off and is financially lucrative and successful. In the startup space, especially after the world of like lean startup design and lean product design, there's this idea that like you don't really put something out into the world until you're sure that people want it, it's a valuable idea, and that they'll pay for it. There are a lot of different ways that you can do this in the online entrepreneurial space to validate your concept. For example, if you have clients who get done with your one-on-one service and they're like, okay, what happens next? I want to keep working. I want to keep working with you. What happens that, like, I did the program, but I don't want to let you go. You've got an ingredient for creating a membership, right? That's a number one sign that I look for, is that when people are asking you for more after you've delivered your service, that's where the gold starts to be mined, right? The second part of this is that you can validate something by putting up a wait list. Maybe it's not a complete idea yet, but you can put a landing page up using your email newsletter platform, right? Almost every email news platform, from MailChimp to ConvertKit to Infusionsoft, has the ability for you to create a basic landing page where you can talk about the vision of your idea and ask people to sign up for it and let them know that they'll be the first to know when this plan begins to take its actual formation and steps. As you mention this to your audience, if you start to see conversions on your wait list, you know you're starting to get somewhere with the idea. But the part where you can really put the pedal to the metal and see what is viable inside of your business is to use what's called a founding launch. Now, a founding launch really is like, I equate it to like getting a party started, right? When you're the hostess of a party, you need to get the music popping, you need to get the hors d'oeuvres out, you need to get the cocktails mixed, you want to have everything ready to go so that when everybody arrives, the party is already in full swing. What a founding membership essentially does is it takes that metaphor of the community and it pulls your best friends, the friends who show up and help you, the friends who show up early and are like, give me a knife, I'll chop some vegetables. Where's the cocktails? I'll get them started. It's your DJ friend who gets the music playing, right? Those people are who you invite to your founding launch. Now, for a lot of us, that is previous clients, VIPs inside of our community. This does not apply to like family members and friends per se. We still very much want this to be focused on our target customers because they're going to be the ones that help validate whether or not this is a good idea. Let me pause and say, the reason that we're validating that this is a good idea is before you go to all the time, effort, and work of creating the platform, creating the content, creating the community, the systems, the mechanisms, the launch sequence, the nurture, all of the process that comes into having a truly game-changing launch, that's a big investment in time, effort, energy. And if you're hiring someone like a strategist, it's expensive. And so we don't want to take those steps until we're sure that we have something that people really desire and want. So what a founding launch does is it pulls the cream from our existing email list and our existing audience and offers them a very special opportunity to offer them a very special opportunity to help be the early party starters of your larger community as a whole, right? Now, a founding launch is very, very simple. And it doesn't require a lot of infrastructure. And we're just going to see if this is a good idea. So here's how to do it. Get a pen and paper. We'll take a couple of notes. First of all, let's talk about price. Now, some people will start out super, super low on their price because they just want people to join. If that's your impetus for picking your price, you're doing yourself a disservice. Don't be the lowest price, because people who join based on being the lowest price are often the most complicated and difficult clients, right? Those of us who have worked with clients in the one-on-one coaching space totally know that's the truth, right? So what I want you to do when you think about what it is you're going to price is I want you to zoom out and say, what is the before state and the after state of people inside of my community, right? Before they join my community, let's use my business for example. They're spinning on their wheels on technology. They're feeling overwhelmed by all the details that go into a launch. They don't know if they need to get a copywriter, a virtual assistant, a strategist, a business coach. There's so many pieces and they're totally overwhelmed by the whole process and they're trying to do it all on their own, right? Those are a lot of the before states that I can identify of my customers. Now, after working with me or after being in my community, what are the transformations that I'm going to see? They feel like their launch is broken down into little bite-sized pieces. They're able to see how their idea and their vision is becoming reality step by step. In working with me, I make sure that they don't get overwhelmed with all the details. I make sure that their access to me means that they're not spinning their wheels, or they're like spending hours and hours and hours Googling with 40 tabs open in their browsers, right? Like, that's what I offer inside my little world. And so that's what I indicate as the before and after. Now, with my before and after very clear, I can then turn and say, how much is this after state of value to my customers, right? How much time are they spending spinning their wheels without me? How much time and effort and expenses are they making without having a clear direction without me? Those are going to start giving me an idea of the impact that my help has on their progress, right? Without a launch strategist, they might have a wonky launch, but they don't know why. They don't know if it was the copy or the landing pages or the sales or whatever, right? With a supportive person, I can say, even though my cost is this, I know that your return on investment is likely to be this number over here, to give them the confidence that the after state is worth the investment. So when you're thinking about your membership and your idea, I want you to look at your before state and your after state and ask yourself, and ask your customers if you want to, what is this really worth to my customers? Because that's the chalk mark of the value. Now, the next step is to say, for my founding launch, how many people is the bare minimum number of people that I could say would make this worth it for me? Founding member launches kind of vary in the context of how many people feel they need to have in their launch before they get started. So what we want to do is we want to take that value, we want to take how many is the bare minimum number of people that we would assume is worth this to do this launch, and then we want to add that to how much of your time and effort are you willing to expend in this if you only got the bare minimum number of people in your founding launch, and you're spending your time and effort to grow and build this community and prepare for a big launch where we're going to throw open the doors and invite a lot of people in. And that's where we go from like 20 founding members to hundreds, right? Where we're just going to fling it open and invite everybody in. What is the bare minimum that I'm willing to do for my time and money to help these people get these results? And how many is the bare minimum number of people that will help me get that number? The reason that it is so important to price with your personal motivation in mind is because a lot of people will just throw out a founding member launch. They'll get one person, 2 people, 3 people to sign up. They put the price way too low. And now every week they're grinding and doing Zooms and one-on calls and all the things. And they're doing it for 3 people at bottom of the barrel prices, and they start to get resentment and they start to be like, isn't it even worth it? And real talk, that vibe does not give transformations to your clients. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help your business, right? So boo. Be really honest with yourself. What is the bare minimum that would say to me, this is worth doing? Because that is the chalk mark that we're going to use for your founding launch. Once you have the before and after state figured out, once you have a vague idea of how many people and more or less what the price is that will make this worth your time and effort, your next step is to reach out to your audience, articulate the vision, and see who bites. Now, notice I haven't said anything about joining a platform. I haven't said anything about getting a community started. I haven't said anything about creating content or a sales page or email lists, none of it. You could honestly do this with 5 emails max. Honestly, you could do it with 3, but we'll say 5 just to be friendly. So the first email, what does it say? This is my vision. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm thinking about, right? Paint the picture for them. Remember, the people who are most likely to join your founding membership are people who are already in your world, already know, like, and love you, and are already willing to take the next step with you, because they're probably the sort of people who are going to do buy whatever it is you have to offer, right? And so we're not going to go hard on like, no, like, and trust me, get to know me, webinars, launch system, none of that. We're just going to talk about the idea. Here's the idea. Here's what it is. Where did this idea come from? Who is this idea for? And why are we doing this, right? Talk about the idea. Then you're going to wax a little bit poetic about where you see this going. I see in 6 months launching a community where people can X, Y, Z and experience these things and create a movement together inside of this amazing community container, right? We see this becoming na. Now, you're going to be very clear and transparent with your founding launch that they know that there's nothing there yet, right? They're just buying into the vision and buying into the idea. Now, why would they do that? One, they already know you, like you, love you, and are more likely to buy from you in the first place. Statistically, check. Second, they are getting a locked in price, the lowest price it will ever be, because you're going to continue to raise your prices as your community gets traction, grows value, gets bigger, has more to offer. And they're getting rewarded by getting that locked in lower price for the lifetime of their membership, in exchange for being the people who show up to your house early to help you prepare for the party, right? And that's where you're like, hey, why don't you put on that playlist that you love? And what do you think about this layout? Or should I move the chairs and the furniture, right? This is really a collaborative process once you get your founding members in to actually get the data and results that you can promise to your community to have game-changing results when you go big with your next launch, right? So we talk about the idea, we share the big vision and where it's going, and then you make an invitation. Come and join me as a founding member. Make sure that you talk about the before and after state. Real talk, just between you and me, people do not care about how they get the results. I know that as creators, especially as business owners, we want to talk about all the amazing things that we're offering, because for us, we're constantly running a checklist of like live Zooms on Tuesdays, ask me anything sessions, coaching, networking, right? We have the to-do list in our head. But for the people that we're talking to, what they're looking for is, does this person understand what I'm suffering from? And are they the person who can give me the results that I want? And when you can articulate your before and after state well to them, that's the ticket as to whether or not they feel like you're the right person or this is the right service for them. I like to use the metaphor of like being winemakers who are having a hard time articulating our business because we're literally inside the wine bottle trying to read the label from the inside. We're just too close to it. So the core reason that this before and future state is so important and is the focus of our communication is because it's not about us. It's not even about what we're building. It is about them and the results that they're going to get. That is so key, no matter what part of business you're in, no matter how you talk about what it is you do, the more you talk about them, the better, right? So we're going to invite them and say, join the founding membership, experience these transformations. As founding members, you get to help me influence where this goes. We're not going in there with like no ideas and being like, help me build it, right? You have an idea, you're the professional, you know what works for your clients, but a community is more of an alive organism that gets to continue and grow and evolve in your business. And so we're going to treat it like that because it's really about people and people collaborating to co-create something truly amazing, right? So you get to influence where this goes. And if you lock in your price now as a founding member, that's the price of your membership for the lifetime of your participation in this community. Now, for most people, that is a slam dunk. You give them a call to action that says, if that sounds like what you want to do, send me a DM, right? I haven't talked about a landing page or a sales process or anything. It's just a couple of emails that say, this is what my idea and where I see it going. Would you like to be a part of it? Doors are open, doors are closed. You don't need a founding member launch to be longer than a week, because this is really about what? Validating the concept, right? When they pop into your DMs and they're like, hell yeah, sign me up, you send them a payment or checkout link. End of sentence. And then after your founding launch, you can say, did enough people sign up for this? Was there enough interest for me to say, this is a really great idea? Now, real talk, just between you and me, if only one person signs up for your founding member launch, give them a refund, circle back to the idea, right? It's time to dig deeper and really come up with something more effective. I know that my time is wrapping up here and I don't want to go over. I'm not quite sure where I am in the timeline, but I just want to say, if you're getting ready to scale your business in offering something at a subscription model, this is a really great way to get out there and see what's working. The freebie that I have in the chat, I believe, is the questions that I ask all of my clients to help them take this big idea out of the ether and out of their minds and begin to ask all of the important questions that form the diamond that is the community that they're building. That's for me.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Delighted to be here. Delighted to be here. I super appreciate the invitation.
Great information. Thank you so much for being here, and I appreciate you. We'll see you soon.
You as well. Thanks, Haley. Ciao,
Take care.
everybody.
Hello, friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing well. I am delighted to invite you to the stage here as our last WEN-Talk presenter. Cheyenne, this is just an honor to have you here. I am super grateful to have you. I cannot wait to hear your topic. And with that, I give you the stage. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Haley. And it's such an honor to be here. I love everything that you're doing, and what great presenters we've had here previously today. You know, my name is Cheyenne Kramer, and my claim to fame, one of my funny things that a lot of people don't know, is this is my mobile office on wheels, which is also my home. My husband and I are full-time RVers, and it works well for the community type work that we do out here. So I hope you don't mind if I get just a little bit real with you today, because I'm going to talk about the concept of social entrepreneurship. And I like to kind of set the stage for this right up front. And these are my perspectives. And so, you know, you may or may not share them all, but I just want to give you a framework from why this topic, I'm so passionate about it. And it's so important to me to get this message out to more people, especially in the small business community. Because here's how I see it. Our society is broken in far too many ways. Our systems have become heartless in so many ways, without a soul. And remember, I'm doing a lot of community work out here. Our education systems rarely encourage creation and innovation. We're losing many of our youth to a state of confusion about who they are and who they could become. Our systems of healing refuse to include tools and truths that were created by nature, insisting that it's only man-made solutions that can cure anything. Our systems of man-made laws are dividing us, causing us to compete against each other, to have a lot of discontent all over the country and around the world. Our political systems have rocked us to sleep, encouraging us to believe that we're all victims of something and we need some certain leaders to save us. The vast majority of people out here feel powerless to change anything about their circumstances or to help create any type of change in the world. But what if we are all born with a piece of a super puzzle that could create more health, wealth, and peace in the world? What if the chaos and anger we see is directly related to the number of people who are not actively building their piece of this super puzzle? What are too many people still have that inside them? Les Brown's been known to say the graveyard is the richest place in the world because it's where we all go and take our gifts with us. So think about this. We've been trained from birth to look outside ourselves for answers and to wait for somebody else to solve the problems in our households, our communities, and our world. And we keep looking for and waiting for someone else to create or bring a miracle. But what if we, the small business community especially, are the miracles that we've been waiting for? Think about that. You know, some of the people here today I know my friend Carrie George, and she always ends her meetings and she says, "Happy capitalism." And it always makes me laugh, the number of friends and associates that I have who've heard her say that come back to me and say, "I don't like that. I don't like when she says happy capitalism." And I'm like, why? Because free market capitalism is the reason you and I are here. And it's why a lot of us have been able to grow incomes beyond the standards that are normally out here as part of the corporate mindset. So why do people get upset when she says this? Well, who said that business had to be strictly money driven and lacking in integrity? We've all had experiences with big businesses where we go, oh my God, why did they treat us that way? If you've ever been an employee, a laid off employee like me, there's a lot of things that you can say, okay, maybe capitalism isn't so happy. But, who said that business must love money and use people? Why can't more businesses love people and use money to do good? What if it's time for us to rise up and put heart and soul back into business? I believe it was there at one point in time. If you watch some of the old Westerns on TV and things of that nature, there was a lot of integrity. There was a lot of people who, were kind of watching each other's back as neighbors and trying to make sure, yeah, there were bad guys. We know that. But there was a lot of good, honest, ethical business owners who had heart and soul in their business. And I want you to know, I definitely am seeing the rise of mission-driven business, heart-centered business. And I think there's a lot of room to do a whole lot more of that. I love the terms conscious capitalism and social enterprise, because I believe those ideas can bring together the best of both worlds. Again, there's nothing wrong with free market capitalism, but there's also the idea of making a social impact. And I believe every day that small business owners have more power to make a social impact, to improve the situations of what we've got going on in the world, than anybody else on the planet. Perhaps you're familiar with the concept of B corporations or benefit corporations. They're on the rise. And I believe, again, this is a concept that's going to continue to become bigger and better all the time. Because B corporations, if you're not familiar with the concept, they have what they call a triple bottom line. So right off the bat, they're not just talking about profit. I mean, profit's important. We all know it is. But when you talk about a triple bottom line of people, profit, and planet, now you have the makings of a whole different type of capitalism, a whole different type of business. And that's where I get excited, because if I can make a profit and then make a conscious choice to use that profit to fund social impact projects, oh my goodness, I think I can solve a whole bunch of different problems out here at the same time. In fact, I've even put it out here in a number of places that what if social enterprises are an alternative to nonprofits? I've worked with nonprofits for a number of years, and oh my goodness, and especially, oh my God, do we dare to use that word recession? If we are in such a thing, this is typically where nonprofits start to have more and more problems finding the grant money, finding the donors, all of those kinds of things. I mean, I know of churches right here where I am in the Raleigh-Durham area that are suffering. They have not recovered from the pandemic. They're trying to figure out how to put more money into their organizations. It's just a fact that, things like pandemics and recessions make a lot of things difficult. But by gosh, the people that I see who are doing social good and really thriving at doing it are the ones who've been able to figure out how to build business that made enough profit that they could take some of that profit and put it back into the community, either by hiring some people to be able to help some of the challenged folks in our community. That's one way they can do it. Some of them go and start their own foundation so that they have the ability to take money from their profit, from their business, put it into a foundation and do whatever their heart is calling them to do with it. There was a type of business that was created in the state of North Carolina a number of years ago that I thought was really interesting. It was called the L3C, and that stood for Low Profit Limited Liability Corporation. And at that time, the state of North Carolina was saying, look, we're giving you a special type of social enterprise business that we're going to just say right up front that we understand if you do not have a huge profit margin, because you're taking that profit and you're doing something to help in the community. But isn't it interesting that several years after they created that, they decided to get rid of it? Why? Because they said it wasn't needed. They said the corporations we already have enough flexibility in them to allow us to do the same thing. So they didn't want the additional administrative nightmare of having a special type of corporation for this. So guess what? It doesn't matter what you're doing, a S Corp, a C Corp, whatever, they're saying they'll understand if you have a lower profit margin, if you're showing that you're using it to do something of value, to make an impact in the community. Some of the simple ways that we can get more engaged in this whole concept of social entrepreneurship and making a social impact with our small businesses. Cause-related marketing. What's your passion? Create a personal brand around it. My husband and I are getting ready to go to a networking function here in Raleigh tonight. And I promise you, by the time we're done, I'm going to be so frustrated because I'm going to meet several realtors who sound exactly the same, several insurance agents who sound exactly the same. If one of them would just come to me and say, hey, I'm Carol the realtor, and I am in business because I have a passion for helping single moms, or I have a passion for helping, survivors of domestic violence, or whatever that passion is. If they told me that they were a realtor and that's what their passion was, they just told me they've got a personal brand. They've got a personal brand that matters to somebody. Definitely those things can touch my heart, but they definitely would matter to somebody. And so now, oh my goodness, if I'm looking at a sea of realtors and I'm trying to figure out who to work with, I can make a decision. Oh my gosh, this woman is supporting single moms or survivors. If I do business with her, she just told me she's going to do something to help in that community. That becomes a buying decision for me at that point in time. Cause-related marketing is powerful, and every small business owner out here can, and I humbly believe should, figure out how to build causes into your business, because you don't just want to say you've got one and not be telling the truth. But especially most of us people here are women. We have causes, we have things we're passionate about. Why not let people know? If the NFL could dress up in pink for the Susan B. Komen Foundation a number of years ago, we can decide to do something in our marketing to incorporate our causes. And, it's not that difficult. We can make donations to existing organizations, and we can just tell people that that's part of our profit. Some percentage of our profit's going to go to support this. Or maybe you have 2 or 3 different causes that are important to you. Give people a choice where the money goes. Some of the car dealerships have gotten into doing that in recent years, and I applaud them every time I see it. I think that's fabulous. You also could consider creating a partnership with an existing organization and be able to help them in some way. I've worked with a number of nonprofit organizations where I have partnered with them to help them with fundraising. Now, that can be a different scenario. I'll give you an example. Right now here in Raleigh, we're putting on the Young Entrepreneur Experience, and we're so grateful that Haley has agreed to donate some of her time to that. And so part of what they're doing is they're looking at how to partner with businesses here in Raleigh to split the profit. Some of our kids want to help business owners be able to sell their product at their event, and they will do it on a split the profit kind of situation between the business owner and our young entrepreneur who's helping to sell and market the event. What an awesome thing. You can do that kind of thing with a church. Help a church make money by doing that kind of a split the profit deal with them. These are simple ways that can help us to grow our businesses, help to create a new personal brand, and to help make an impact in the community. You can build a new solution and make it part of your business. I have several different types of of classes that I have created. And sometimes I've actually been hired by a nonprofit to do some of those classes within the nonprofit. So, they've hired me to actually help their clients. So again, when you're clear about what you're passionate about, your purpose, your passion, your mission, and how you can make an impact in the community, you never know when a nonprofit might become one of your clients. That is the most beautiful thing. As a result of that, I have taught to help mental health organizations and drug addiction recovery organizations. I've also been hired to teach in prisons. That was an eye-opening experience, but boy, did it touch my heart to be able to help people who were sitting there trying to figure out what the rest of their life might look like. So I just want you to hear this. There's so many ways we can choose to make impacts in our communities and continue to grow our business. Here's a real big one, and this is exactly where I'm so grateful to Haley and some other folks here in Raleigh who are stepping up to the plate. Who can you mentor in your business? Who can you mentor? Our young people are more confused and lost today than they have ever been. Many of them suffered severe depression as a result of the pandemic. They want to become business owners. A lot of them are looking at big business and going, I don't like how they treat people. My parents got laid off from a big organization. I don't know if I can trust them. Do I really want to dedicate my life to a company when I'm not sure if they truly value me? They want to be small business owners, but they need mentors. So why not consider bringing a teenager, a young adult into your business, teach them sales and marketing, and get them engaged in helping you to grow your business. At the same time, you're teaching them how to go into business for themselves. That's such a powerful thing that any of us can do. And here's the final point I want you to hear, because I'm all about bringing together collaboration teams of small business owners. To me, that's one of the most powerful things that we can do, because small business owners by nature are some of the most powerful problem solvers on the planet. It just goes without saying, we wouldn't survive in business if we weren't. Did we all not learn the word pivot in the last 2 or 3 years? We have the ability to be flexible, to be able to pivot on a dime when necessary, and to put our brains together to brainstorm for new solutions. That's what we're doing. We have our career alternatives team. We have our wellness team. We have a prosperity team. We're getting ready to launch a peace and justice team. And we're doing a lot of the business development work to bring these teams into partnership with organizations who will be interested in understanding what they do. So please understand that as a small business owner, you have far more ability to impact the community than you may have ever thought of before. And it is high time for all of us as the small business community to understand how powerful we really are, both individually and in collaboration teams. Because guess what? I believe with all my heart and soul that you and me are the miracle we're looking for to create health, wealth, and peace in our communities. That's what I had to share with y'all today. I hope there's been something of value here for you.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I am looking forward to helping with the young entrepreneur community here in the area. I had somebody who reached out to me a little while ago on Facebook, and they're like, so what are your goals with your Facebook group that's got 76,000 members in it? And I think he may have thought I was a bit crazy or touched in the head when I said, my goal is to eradicate world poverty. And I think that we can do that through entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
And dead silence. It was awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I hope that you have a wonderful, profitable, amazing week. We will talk shortly. Take care, y'all. Thank you, Cheyenne. Thank you for all of our speakers. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.